Now the breaking coming in from Bengal itself, and this is about TMC MLA and former top cop Humayun Kabir, who has said that he's ashamed of the Bengal violence. He said, and I quote, "I'm ashamed of the violence that took place in Bengal Panchayat polls," says TMC MLA, former police officer Humayun Kabir. "I saw a lot of violence in the left regime, but 2021, when we contested, there was no violence. I thought the culture of violence has ended, but no." Now, what is this about? Listen in.
Mr. Kabir, you have been handling so many panchayat elections, so you know the tradition of Bengal poll violence. What happened this time? What do you feel?
Actually, in 2021, when we fought the election, there was no violence almost in Bengal. I personally thought that this scenario that I used to see in the past during the tenure of left front government has been changed. And this time I never expected that this violence can happen, and so much of lot of persons have been killed, and I never expected that. As a Bengali, I feel very ashamed, and I think there is some lapse, serious lapses on part of each of us regarding court order on State Election Commission and what Election Commission could do. I am not the right person to say about this, but the thing is that the election was going to happen shortly. That was known by everyone.
Well, this is what the TMC MLA had to say, and he was a former top cop himself, and he has mentioned that in the left regime he had seen a lot of violence, but in 2021 there was no violence. We do have Kamalika Sengupta, who spoke to Mr. Humayun Kabir herself, joining us on the broadcast. Kamalika, very good morning to you. Could you set some context as to what exactly he said and what exactly he implied when he made these statements?
He himself is a TMC MLA, and the fact that he won in 2021. Before to that, he was a top cop in Bengal, and he was also a commissioner in Chandan. So he has handled a lot of panchayat elections. What he tried to say is in 2021, there was no violence when he fought, and when the Mamata Banerjee came with so much of numbers. His point was that because he himself is a cop, he was realizing that this type of violence which took place this time, that should not have, that can be avoided, that there were ways through which that could have been avoided. So basically, he's speaking on that. He thought that the Bengal tradition has changed and things are better. But this panchayat polls, as we have, like today is the counting. From the nomination day to the counting, the number of deaths is 41. So he is very shocked, and he is very much embarrassed at the same point that being a TMC MLA, and not only Humayun Kabir of TMC, there are other TMC people also who are not happy with the amount of violence that has taken place in on the poll day and thereafter. So this is not opposition, but a person from Trinamool Congress itself has raised this question, and it's a very serious question that why this thing has happened, and this could have been averted.
Right, Kamalika. We also have Pallavi Ghosh joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, a very good morning to you. Firstly, we do have the numbers flashing of the panchayat polls right here on our screens. But for now, like we are talking about this TMC MLA, Humayun Kabir, speaking up about the kind of violence that Bengal has witnessed this time. Since he was a top cop himself and he comes from TMC himself, do you think this is an implication, like this is a hint of a blame game being played here, or that he implies it on some particular party when it comes to his comment?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's not just the Trinamool Congress which blames the BJP. The BJP is also equally blaming the Trinamool Congress. And let's not also forget the Congress party in its kind of stronghold of Murshidabad, which also has seen huge amount of violence taking place. There too, they are blaming the Trinamool Congress. So, violence, the poll violence in West Bengal, whether it was post-poll violence after the results came out for the assembly elections, whether it's during the panchayat elections, and even as we see that counting going on, is now going to become a very important issue for 2024. The BJP is certainly going to dismiss of the Mamata Banerjee government as being one which is not able to provide good governance or administration. The Trinamool Congress, incidentally, which is sending a delegation today to Manipur, where we have seen violence in which the central government is, of course, being blamed for mishandling such situation, is also making the point that most of this violence is also stoked by the BJP. Now, what is interesting really over here is that the BJP sends a fact-finding mission to West Bengal, TMC sends a fact-finding mission to Manipur. So it's going to be a tit for tat, with BJP trying to point a finger at the TMC for violence in Bengal, TMC equally pointing a finger back at the BJP for saying that, look, in a state which is ruled by you, you're not able to control that violence. Right. So that is unfortunate, I would say, that mired and, kind of caught in a trap as far as this violence is concerned is that blame game. And perhaps it's the people of Bengal who gets to suffer the most. We are going to wait for the results to be out. The Trinamool Congress is extremely confident that, they are going to kind of sweep the elections over there. Whatever may be the results, both the sides are going to try and use it to their advantage. TMC will certainly say that, look, it's the people's mandate which is in our favor. The BJP will say, well, it was a rigged election from the start. And they would certainly want to make this a larger national issue for 2024.
Right. Pallavi, one more question. Like I was mentioning that he is a top cop, like he was a former cop himself. So do you think that these allegations that he has come out with somewhere or the other also hints towards the fact that somewhere the TMC, the government that is there in West Bengal, has sort of lost control over their own police that is there?
I don't think he said it very categorically, but I think obliquely, we also have to understand he's a TMC MLA. So, his point of view is now no longer going to be just as a former cop. It's certainly going to be as a member of the political party which is in power. Obviously, he's not going to take a blame on the Trinamool Congress. He's not taking names, but he's clearly pointing a finger at the BJP when he says that, 2021, when the Trinamool Congress was in power and had control of the situation completely, there was not BJP so active around the corner. There was not much of violence taking place then. But he remained silent on the post-poll violence as far as the West Bengal Assembly results are concerned, because we've seen that even after the results were out, there was post-poll violence which is taking place. We also have to understand that he is no longer, as I just said, speaking as a former cop. He's also now wearing the hat of a Trinamool Congress leader, and therefore he's certainly taking a pot shot at the BJP without directly naming them.
Absolutely, Pallavi. Thank you so much for all those details. And well, that was all from my side.